You are listening to the Sports and Sorts podcast.
Pebbles drill deep to left field. Going back George, looking up. See ya! 3,000. History.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the man. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Yes! Welcome back. This is Sports and Sorts, and this is episode 100. That's right, 100. Yes, thank you. We've made it this far. I can't believe we actually got to episode 100. But today we have a lot to talk about. First things first, my name is Shane Moore. I am one of your hosts.
I'm the Bri Man.
And he is your other host. So we have two hosts here, hostess with the mostest. And you can find this show anywhere podcasts are played, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, all these different places. Anywhere they're played, you can find this show. iHeartRadio. You can also find us on our website at www.sportsandsorts.libsyn. That's libsyn.com. And of course, you can find us live every Monday and Wednesday, and soon to be Saturdays once the football season starts. Actually, a little bit before we will be doing our fantasy, our football predictions probably next Monday. And then after that, we have to have our man, Tim Callahan, come on to do his fantasy football predictions and give you a little bit of drafting tips. So we're going to do that coming up soon. That's going to happen within a couple of weeks as well. But today, we got a great show. We're going to talk about Dez Bryant versus Sean Lee and Jerry Jones. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of an interesting situation over there. And then we're going to be talking about the Yankees. They had a couple of new acquisitions, their impact on the team so far. We have some sorts stuff to talk about. 3 movies. If you can only watch 3 movies, or the 3 movies that you're most excited to see for the rest of this year, what would they be? And that's it. We're limited at 3 movies. No honorable mentions. There's a lot of movies left, so that kind of made it a little interesting. And then we also have the great chicken wing debate. It was like all over social media yesterday. Wings, like in the wings universe, what's better, drums or flats? And I think
sounds like a slow news week.
Yeah, sounds a little bit like slow news week. But hey, I like to talk sorts. It's fun. Especially in the movie side of things. I'm very excited. I have a really good one to talk about coming up soon. And I think it might even be next week, might be Wednesday, who knows. But I'll talk to you about it afterwards so we can get the wheels turning a little bit. All right, so today we got a great show. Let's go.
You are listening to the Sports and Sorts podcast.
All right, first thing to talk about today is football. Got a lot of football to talk about. Not really a lot, but good topics, I guess. So we got the Bri Man right there. He's going to be talking to you. We're going to be talking to you both talking to you right to your face. I'm going to stop. This is a lot of drivel right now. I'm not even speaking English. Dez Bryant, he comes out and says some pretty callous things on the. I'm surprised. I'm super surprised about Dez Bryant saying some weird things on the old internet and everything like that, because he's usually such a reserved person. But there was a couple of questions. A reporter talked to Dez Bryant, said, Bryant, he asked him some questions, was saying basically he was being scapegoated. Bryant responded, y'all know the real problem is garbage bleep play calling. I can say garbage ass play calling. Everybody lined up in the same spot for 17 weeks. Bryant then replied to a follower who slammed Jones as clueless by taking a conversation in an entirely different direction. So the reporter basically called Jerry Jones clueless. And he said he's not clueless, wrote Bryant. Owner Jerry Jones was the only one who was clueless. Another expletive was in there. It was planned to get me out. Asked Travis and my brother Sean Lee. He's supposed to be my brother, Bryant said in reference to Lee. We laughed to talk about goals and stuff. He sat right across from me in the locker room. Never thought we had a problem. I got cut. He was the first to know. I found out he was also behind it. Damn. So that all came out. And then Sean Lee had a little bit of a retort, and this is what he had to say.
First thing to say that I can get anybody off the team and have any input on the roster is absurd. Second thing, I love Dez and I want the best for him. To be honest, we did butt heads because I wanted Dez to be more accountable to this team and his teammates. And to be honest with you, a lot of the team felt that way. I think he needs to look at himself and hold himself accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at that. So, that's about as direct. That's a great counterpunch, if you ask me. Very straight, cut dry, straight to the point. Basically telling Dez Bryant what kind of everybody's been telling him for the course of his career is grow up. Be more responsible. Be a bigger dude than you are. Be a better dude, and stop being such a little crybaby. What do you have to say about this? Does any of this surprise you? I think the biggest surprise to me is that the Browns were actually looking to possibly acquire him, which is absurd. Or the Steelers. The Steelers, Antonio Brown just reached out to him and was like, "Oh, please play with us." Like that locker room needs any more drama.
I think it doesn't surprise me. The bitterness of Dez Bryant does not surprise me. It was apparent that I think what is surprising, I guess, is just how long it's carried on. Like at some point you have to move on, because if you're a team that's even remotely interested in signing him and you're hearing these sort of incendiary comments that he's making about his former team, to me it just shows to me a guy who has no maturation level whatsoever, and he's just kind of stuck in the past. I just don't, and at this point in his career, where he's clearly not the player he once was, where his skills have eroded some, is he worth bringing in? Is he worth putting in your locker room? Probably not. I think I even might have said last week that, it probably is worth taking a flyer on this guy. But if this guy has just not grown up yet, and look, if he hasn't grown up at this point in his career, it's not going to happen. So why bother? You know what? Honestly, if I were the Browns, I'd actually take a step back and say, you know what? We don't actually need this, because as it is, we've already got one guy in our locker room right now who's in his prime, who's also bitching about his old team constantly, and that's Jarvis Landry. Mm-hmm. And I love Jarvis Landry. There's a lot of love lost there. Yeah. But Jarvis Landry has been extremely bitter, and he has attacked his former team quite a bit. He's gone after Adam Gase. He's gone after Ryan Tannehill. And you know what? Sean Lee brought up a good point. Just grow up, dude. Move on. Yes, you know what? He and I butted heads, but you got to take some accountability yourself there, man. And I just don't think there's a place for a guy like Dez Bryant in any kind of a locker room, especially if there are ones that already might have some issues within them. Yeah. You don't want to. You do not want to compound that by adding, throwing that log onto the fire.
Right.
So, if I'm a team at this point, maybe Dez Bryant did a lot of teams some favors over the weekend, because maybe there were some teams that were looking at him, looking at their wide receiver, their depth at wide receiver in camp, and they're thinking, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring this guy in or at least talk to him. And then after that, I would just be like, nah, you know what? He's not worth it. Let's just go to battle with the guys we have. If there's somebody else that, that maybe we could pick up before the start of the season, great. Otherwise, this guy's just not worth bringing in. I would stay completely away from him at this point.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too, because he was a good talent. But
It's an amazing talent.
But he really has dropped off the last several years, and yeah, I mean now he's kind of blaming it on his head coach and the calls and everything like that that's been going on over the last several years.
And I don't know about you, but I hate this. I hate when guys leave teams and all they do is focus on the past and they talk about what went wrong in the past and then they point fingers at. To me, that's like one of the most cowardly things you can do. If you've got a beef, say it while you're there. Confront the people that you're targeting while you're there. Don't do it. Don't be lobbing bombs after you're a free agent and you're not with any team right now. It's just cowardly. It just, I don't know. I can't stand it.
So
he's an all-time great player. He's an absolute beast. But he's not really that guy anymore. At least he hasn't appeared to be. I mean, look, he got old like everybody else. We all get older and our skills erode. Okay.
It's not even that old. It's just he's never had great hands.
No, but in football,
he's just had great
football,
athletic ability. He's just never had great hands. So he always had a lot of drops. But we have Jay Palermo, who DJ Melee, the name that you love. He actually posted on our page. He said he's a less mature, less productive T.O., which is saying a lot. Because T.O. was one of those guys that would actually, like you said, come out and say it in the media, on the team that he was on, and really call people out right then and there. Where this guy, he seems like he's doing it more kind of in the shadows a little bit, and he's definitely less productive. Because T.O. is one of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
I don't know that he's any less mature. They were both pretty bad.
T.O.'s having some issues right now, by the way. Like
yeah, I mean, T.O. not showing up for the Hall of Fame induction this coming Friday, I think that's really bad.
Especially after how much he's kind of like been upset that he wasn't in, and he finally got in. Like he didn't get in because he was an immature scumbag. I mean, that's the reason why. Like, you're going to treat people like garbage, you're likely not going to get in on your first try.
And a lot of the voters probably, looked at what he did and they probably said, well, thanks for proving our point. You're not going to be here. You're not going to be here. And, the funny part is, all these other guys who are being inducted, and it's a pretty good class, they've all reached out to him, whether publicly or probably, individually, and they've said, we want you here. Yeah. You're part of this class. It means something to us that you be here. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to go. Hey, where's he going to be? Is he going to be at his alma mater or something like that?
He said at one time, I think he said he was just going to have like a family picnic.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
You got to be there. You got to be there.
I mean, that is like one of the biggest honors an athlete could ever have.
Outside of winning a championship, that's the biggest honor.
And even at that point in time,
it's winning and then Hall of Fame.
Right. But and he's already got a championship. So like this is like one of the, I mean, athletes don't typically like break down and cry even after they've won a championship. Like they don't typically do that. But like this is one of those things that you are being honored as one of the greatest players in your sport ever. And he's not going to attend. T.O. and Dez Bryant, they're just two people that really drive me crazy. I have another comment from Jay. He said, by the way, I love Mondays now. I can't stand another sports talk show now on some other sports channel we all know. You guys are great, getting me all fired up. Well, thank you very much, Jay. That's awesome. That's big thumbs up to you for the big thumbs up to us. So I really appreciate it. Yes, I have one of those sports shows in the background right now.
So do
actually, Tom Brady, I don't know if you guys can see it, but Tom Brady's being worked on and rubbed down, and he's getting his arm flapped around by his guy.
Turn that off.
So let's move on. We're going to talk about one of our favorite things to talk about because we are diehards. Just baseball fans, but really when it comes down to it,
the state of the Yankees
is what we really want to talk about. We had some acquisitions. The acquisitions that we had gotten recently there's two that are big names, Zach Britton and J.A. Happ. J.A. Happ was the kind of guy that I thought he was probably going to be a Yankee because it didn't seem like Hamels was going to be a fit because of the money. And then we had J.A. Happ, who a little less expensive, but similar skill set.
Lefty.
Both lefties, which is important for the Yankees because it plays to their strengths play to the bigger side of the park instead of having all those balls getting jacked out of the 212 feet down line down the right field line.
Sand lot down the right field line there.
So that helps. It definitely helps. Having ground ball pitchers and having left-handers definitely help. So I had come up with a couple of things to talk about here. One, just to kind of give your overall initial thoughts about J.A. Happ and Zach Britton. Obviously, they haven't played a lot, so we're going to just kind of give you a quick little rehash about what we thought happened. Zach Britton, he's struggling. He's struggled since he came off the DL. They rushed him off the DL. I'm not incredibly worried about him. I don't expect him to pitch like the Zach Britton that we know, probably until almost September. He needs to get a lot of innings in him. But I'm not worried about it. Unfortunately, I don't think his acquisition is going to necessarily help us a ton in the regular season. It could down that last few week stretch, but I don't think it's going to help us. J.A. Happ, on the other hand, I think is going to be a huge help. I think he's a huge asset because now he is no longer in that 1, 2, or 3 spot like he was in the Blue Jays organization. He is now a 4 or a 5. Mm-hmm. And at best, he's a 3. At best. At the very best, he's a 3 because Mossie's ahead of him. Sevy's ahead of him. I mean, you could make a case for CC and both. I mean, Sonny Gray's been pitching better too. So
yeah,
you could make a case that J.A. Happ is our 5th starter. And this is a guy who just a couple years ago went 20-4 and was a Cy Young candidate. He has been very good over the last few years, doing a great job keeping his ERA around that 4 or lower range. And in that 4 or 5th slot, this guy should get so many scrubby wins because he is going to be going up against the worst of the worst pitchers, and he is a good pitcher. So he should give this team I think this acquisition right here.
Well, yesterday was probably a good microcosm for what you should see from him.
Exactly. You're going to see. I mean, the thing that we didn't get to see was the strikeouts because he has been striking out about 10 per 9 this year, which is amazing. I mean, considering a guy, he was always kind of like in the 7 range, and then he went up to like the 8, and now he's like 9 or 10 Ks per 9, which is incredible. So I think his acquisition is going to be a huge help in the regular season. It's going to help in the postseason because if you have to, you can always throw him in that number 3 spot. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to. And it's, I mean, as good as CC has been, you got to get worried with him just because of his age, the possibility of breaking down. But he will pitch you big innings. But he doesn't care if he comes out in the 4th inning now. He's like, I'm going to give you everything I got. And you can have him pitch 4 innings. You could bring in your super pen that, Chad Green and Robertson don't want to be a part of.
Well, Chad Green, I'm starting to worry about Chad Green a little bit.
He's been struggling. They all have their struggles. Dylan Betances had a year of struggles, and now he's like the best reliever on the face of the earth right now. So
it's very strange. Yeah. An amazing and very unexpected turnaround. As far as my 2 cents for Britton and Happ, Britton real quick. Look, he's had 2 appearances. I mean, one was good. I think might have been 3 up, 3 down, or he might have given up one base hit or a walk or something. But he was good in his first appearance, and then the second one the other night was kind of an implosion.
Yeah. And that's kind of what he's been. He's like last year he struggled with throwing. This is a guy who never walked anybody, and then last year he started walking a bunch of people, but he was a little injured. And then he got really injured, and now he's come back, and he's got to get that feeling back. And I think it's going to take a good month to get that feeling back.
It might, because if the other night was any indication, you're probably some Yankee fans are probably scratching their heads saying, why did we go get this guy? Mm-hmm. But I do still think a lot of pursuing him had to do with keep away too, trying to keep him away from Houston, trying to keep him away from Boston, maybe not so much Cleveland because I think Cleveland got their man, but and then the other side of it is Happ. And look, I wasn't really big on either of these acquisitions. I kind of looked at it as this is the cynical Yankee fan in me coming out here because the way I look at this playoff scenario, I still think the Yankees are only the 4th best team in baseball, and the problem is the 3 teams that are ahead of them, in my opinion, are all American League teams. Nobody in the National. I wouldn't put anybody in the National League ahead of them, but the Cubs would be maybe in the discussion because they played well lately. But as far as teams better than them and maybe built to succeed in October better than them. I mean, to me, it's Boston, Houston, Cleveland. And so I kind of looked at these acquisitions and I was like, why are they trading away chips in a year where they might not really even have a chance to win it? Because I just, I look at the gauntlet of having to run through two of those three teams in the postseason just to get to the World Series. And I just, again, Yankee fans will skewer me for this. I don't see it happening. I'll be really honest. I don't see it happening. So I kind of looked at these acquisitions and I said, why not just hold on to these chips, hoard them a little bit while longer, maybe until next offseason where you can package them maybe for guys with a little bit more team control too. And that was the other issue I had is they've made these two trades for two guys, one of whom will almost certainly be gone next year, and that's Zach Britton. He's going to be gone. He's going to be a closer for some team next year. And then the other acquisition in Happ, yeah, you've got a chance to maybe sign him if he enjoys his experience here, if he pitches well, if he proves that he can deal with playing in Gotham. Then, okay, maybe you've got a guy you can hold on to. But most likely he's going to be gone too. So you've traded talent. Don't get me wrong. You traded talent in areas of depth, which is fine. Guys who might not have even seen the light of day in Yankee Stadium. And you traded them, for rentals, though. So they essentially made trades for rentals. So that I'm just never a big fan of. Like when they got Sonny Gray last year, I was like, oh, well, I like that for a number of reasons. One, he's one of my favorite pitchers. And two, you have team control there for another year and change. Mm-hmm. But here's what I will say very quickly about Happ. You had to like what you saw yesterday. The one thing I will say about him, it was his first start as a Yankee in Yankee Stadium, and quite frankly, a game that, look, they need to win every game right now because Boston just doesn't lose. Yeah. So, but he gave you the kind of stabilizing performance that you need from a guy like that, a guy that you could slot into your fourth or fifth spot and know that he's actually better than somebody who would normally be in a fourth or fifth spot. You know what I mean? He gave you exactly what you needed yesterday. He gave you a solid 6 innings. He struck out a few guys, and he gave his team a chance to win. And the one thing I do like about him, he's out there. He looks poised. He looks very professional. Yeah. He knows what his job is. He almost seems like a guy who's on the mound with a business suit. Like he's a pro. You know what you're going to get out of him. And that's one thing I do like about him. And I'll tell you what, if he ends up being a good acquisition, he pitches well in the regular season, maybe even does something in the postseason, I'd have no problem with them putting a contract in front of him next year for 3 or 4 years or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he's not young by any shape, but he's not old either. So, I wouldn't mind. And plus, having lefties. You need the lefties in your rotation in Yankee Stadium. It's just something that you absolutely need. Now, in Fenway, that's a different story because they have that wall over there. So
right. Yeah,
it just happens to be your biggest rival, and they happen to be playing out of this world right now. So, and we're going to have I've already booked Chris Corelli. He's going to be on the show next on this coming Wednesday. He's going to be on right out the gates, because the trade deadline ends July 31st, and we are going to be having him on the Wednesday, which is, I think, August 1st, and we're going to be talking about their acquisitions. We're going to kind of see if what his thought process is on if the Yankees can possibly catch the Red Sox at this point in time. Because, like we said, Red Sox are playing otherworldly kind of baseball right now. So we'll see how that goes. So a buddy of ours who was on the show last week, he actually just posted a little thing about Dez Bryant. Said, sorry, guys, running a meeting. I will watch later today. And then he said, #FDez. He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Not too happy with his old Cowboy wide receiver. I can't imagine why. But anyway, so we're going to have Chris Corelli on. You can follow him on Twitter. He doesn't have a Facebook page, but you can follow him on Twitter @Chris_Corelli. We follow him. He is a writer for SNY, and he covers the Yankees. So we'll see how that goes when we talk to him on Wednesday and what his thought process is about, the acquisitions that the Yankees made, give him a grade and see how he felt like they did. If there's anything that he felt that they should have gotten that they didn't. I know he was really looking for another arm out of the bullpen. They got Britton. We'll see if that's the guy he wanted. And on top of that, we're gonna talk to him a little bit about if they can catch the Red Sox at this point in time. So, all right, Let's. I think that's pretty much it for the. Yeah, oh no, you know what? I was something I wanted to actually talk to you about. This is a kind of a thing that I was just watching yesterday. You know, Romine, good defensive catcher. He is very, very good at calling a game.
Calls a good game, yes.
Calls a great game. And all the pitchers seem to love him, love throwing to him. Does this?
Although I think Sevy had some issues with him the other day, though. He shook off a lot of pitches.
Probably more of like a language thing than anything else. Which this is where I'll get to.
Well, that and Sevy's just not been pitching well lately. He's had three very consecutive.
He needs to reconnect with Pedro.
Yeah, maybe
something that we never thought we'd ever say. But anyway, Romine and Sanchez. This is a conundrum that we have here. Like most teams have catchers that are inept at hitting. It's typical to see a catcher batting .220 with 3 home runs, 42 RBIs, and
your Salvador Perez's are your exceptions.
Yeah, and even Gary Sanchez, he's an exception. Yeah. Not this year so much, but he does have 14 home runs, and he's only played like a quarter of the season.
And he's been awful, right?
But he's been absolutely horrendous behind the dish, and he seems to have a lot of issues with a lot of different pitchers. Either miscommunication with the calls of what he called and what he didn't call, and wild pitches going by, and him just not hustling, getting like pass balls quickly. Obviously, somebody scored from second the other day because he didn't hustle after a ball. He obviously
that was horrendous.
That was. I
wanted to throw my phone through the window.
You should have. I would have given you absolute permission. Your wife would have hated us both, but that's an absolute. It's okay in my book.
But drives bonkers.
So my question is: does it make sense to start having Romine be the main catcher behind the dish and have Sanchez be the backup catcher, but starting to transition him into more of a DH role and playing a little first base from time to time? Granted, you don't want him at first a lot, but just to give Greg Bird a rest. Because Greg Bird, Mr. Glass, as I have given him his nickname, he gets hurt a lot, and you need to give him some rest from time to time. But you want to keep a bat in the lineup. So does it make sense to do that? Because Gary Sanchez is a great hitter, great arm behind the dish, but that's all he's got.
If you're looking at it from the lens of October, though, somebody's coming out of the lineup then. Because if Romine and Sanchez are both in the lineup, somebody in that outfield rotation is getting squeezed out. Hicks is right. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
So,
and he's hot right now. He's hot right now, but that's what he does. He gets hot for like a month, and that's great. But
here's the thing. I am admittedly not an Aaron Hicks fan. I do not like him. I think he's outrageously.
It's safe to say this show is not an Aaron Hicks fan. We were done with the Aaron Hicks experiment.
Yeah, I was done with that experiment a long time ago. I think when I'm texting with like a lot of my Yankee friends, I actually refer to him as Captain Mediocre. Because
250. He's going to hit 25 home runs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but and the power, great outfielder.
And actually, the funny part is, for him right now, he's having a really good year. For him, like this is probably his ceiling. Okay, he's having this is it. This is the Aaron Hicks ceiling. Yeah. The guy's not a kid. What is he? Is he 30? I don't know how old he is. Is he 28, 29? I don't know.
I think he's 30, 31, something like that.
Oh, okay. If he's 31, I mean, look, this is the best. It's the best it's going to get with Aaron Hicks. It's not going to be a marked improvement. But that being said, in October, would you rather have at the plate Hicks or Romine? If the question is,
he's 28. He's 28.
He's 28. Okay, I thought he was still in his 20s. But even still, at 28, you're well into your prime years at that point. You're not. I mean, there's not going to be a marked improvement. I don't think at this point. He is who he is.
Yeah.
But
let's put it this way: you're not going to get a lot for an Aaron Hicks. Like you're not. Like
no, because
he is. I mean, they said yesterday that he is the second. He's got the second best offensive production numbers from a center fielder in the AL this year.
Well, what does that say about the center field position in baseball?
Exactly. Though? I think that's more like you have Kevin Kiermaier and Kevin Pillar and all these guys who are great outfielders, and like Bradley, who is a great outfielder, but none of them are hitting. Like then none of them are hitting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the emphasis on defensive metrics over the years has sort of made the center field position less sexy because you got a lot of guys out there who aren't necessarily big bats, but they play very well defensively. They've got great range.
They cover line to line.
They cover a lot of ground. And Hicks, hey, I can say whatever I want about him. I can't attack him defensively. He is a well above average.
He is our best outfielder.
Without a doubt, yes, yeah. Without a doubt. Although I think Judge is a very underrated outfielder.
Doesn't cover as much ground. Yeah, doesn't cover as much ground.
He's got that cannon for an arm.
And so does Hicks. Hicks also has a cannon. Yeah.
But yes, Hicks is definitely their best outfielder. But again, it shows you, because it just goes to show you though that, the emphasis in baseball now is, especially in that outfield, especially in the center field position where you're covering more ground than any of the others, it's on defense. Because he's not a great hitting center fielder. His numbers right now are okay. They're average. Mm-hmm. He's an average guy. It's just who he is. He's an average baseball player. But I want to get to the point of October, though, because in the regular season, maybe it's okay with that. I would have here's the thing, though. As average as he is, unless you're talking about a scenario with runners in scoring position where we know Romine is actually very good, mm-hmm. If it's just an overall battle between Hicks offensively and Romine offensively, I'm probably leaning Hicks there. Not by a lot, but then again, I'm not even comfortable with the idea of Gary Sanchez catching in the postseason either. So it's a really good question. I guess I would say
the thing is that you don't lose anything by moving Gardner to center field. Like, he's not that much worse of an outfielder.
Right. It's
he's
just
still very good.
It's just a question of the pop in the bat. You will lose a little something between Romine and Hicks. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You're going to lose something there.
But
is it negligible? I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough call. Instinctually, I'm saying no to it because I'm just saying, Hicks by a hair, like a nose hair. But
I think that team with Romine behind the dish gives you a better chance to win. Because Aaron Hicks, no matter what, if he's in the postseason, how has he done in the postseason? Horrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't care if you get that numbers out of a catcher who's actually calling a good game and actually, doing a good job behind the plate. If he's batting 200, 220, I'm fine with that. But a center fielder that's batting in the higher end of the order, no, you can't do that. You can't have that. Whereas I think you have to start the transition.
I think what tainted me a little bit on this question too is that we have seen Romine for an extended period of time playing when Sanchez was out the first time, and everything that we loved about him when he was really just a part-time player and he was hitting like 330, mm-hmm. That he came crashing back to earth, and you saw what would really happen if he was an everyday player.
He's like every other catcher.
Yeah, he is. But, see, that's the problem, though. When you have a Gary Sanchez and you're spoiled offensively as you have been, you tend to let some of the defensive, issues that he has slide because he hits so well, which is such an anomaly for catchers these days. Again, unless you're Salvador Perez, there's not a lot of those guys out there.
And I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. And he's my favorite player. I'm tired of it. It's time to make the transition. I think it'll make you a better rounded team, better defensive team. What wins playoff? What wins championships?
What I would be
pitching and defense.
Here's the one thing I will give you, because again, I'm thinking more about October. But in the regular season, I'd like to see them try it because I would like to see how well Sanchez hits when he's not catching. If he's just a DH, or maybe occasionally at first base, although I don't really know that I'd want that either. But because he just worries me defensively in any spot, and I know everyone thinks like, oh, it's easy to play first base. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's absolutely not true. And I have a soft spot because that used to be my position, so it's not that easy. It's
a piece of cake.
I'd like to see it. But I'd like to see it though in the regular season because I'd like to see how he would hit as primarily a DH. I'd like to see that. I mean, you've never seen that consistently. I'd like to see him go a month or two in the regular season, hitting primarily as a DH, see what it does for his numbers. Because you know what? You could easily change my mind on this, very easily. Because if Sanchez put up big numbers and raked as a DH because he was healthy and, just didn't have the everyday grind of being behind the plate, and he could make up for whatever offensive gap would be between Romine and Hicks, then I would absolutely be with you and say, yeah, you know what? Let Romine be the catcher. He'll give you average production. He'll be way better defensively. He'll call a good game. And whatever dip in offense you would take from Hicks not being there, Sanchez is picking up because he's raking.
Yes. All right. So I think we're almost on the same page. We're getting close.
Close. You could, if we had 5 more minutes, believe me, you could easily convince me.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the change. You're not quite ready yet.
All right. I'm almost there.
All right. So we're going to move on to the next topic. I posted it in the comments that we're going to be talking about some sorts.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bri Man.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm going to sort it out.
So we're going to sort it out right now. We're going to be getting into the movie section. We have 3 movies.
How many people do you think know the reference of that? The sorted out plug. The drop.
Here?
Me and you?
Yeah.
You and me?
Right now?
No.
I don't know how many people are watching right now.
My brother would know it.
Yeah.
If my brother was watching, I think he would know it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Because he likes that movie.
It's a great movie. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic movie. So yeah, if you know what it is, post it in the comment section below. Anyway,
yeah, if you're watching, send me a text. I think you'll know the movie.
So we said we're going to pick 3 movies that you most want to see from now until the end of this year, end of 2018. We're going to give our 3, and
I'm excited about this.
And I have the dates that they're coming out and everything. So do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? I can go first.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go first.
We'll start with 3. We'll go 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Number 3 for me. And this is a movie. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually put some music in the background, too. Let's see if I can find some music while I'm doing this. Number 3 for me is a movie that hasn't even come out with a trailer yet. It's coming out towards the end of the year.
Whoa.
And I am really looking forward to it because one of the Coen brothers is writing it and directing it, I believe. And on top of that, it's starring a cast that has come out with an incredible movie called Step Brothers. And that is Holmes and Watson, starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. That comes out at the end of the year. And I cannot wait for that. The Step Brothers was a tremendous movie. They can really work with each other. It's absolutely incredible. But those are the 3
So
movies
this is a comedic Sherlock Holmes?
Yes. Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what they do with it. So, what's your number 3?
Wow, that's a good choice. My number 3 is one that I will be surprised if it's not on your list, especially knowing how much, because if you move either slightly to your left or right, we'll see him sitting behind you there, is Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Yes. And if this is not on your list, I'll be somewhat disappointed because I know how much you like him. And I will tell you this. And I feel bad because I've given you, as I'm sure a lot of people have over the years, given you a lot of grief over Aquaman. But I will tell you that, look, and let's be honest, how badly does the DC Extended Universe need a win here? I mean, like in the worst way. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're on the ropes. They've already been counted out, quite frankly, but they really need a win here. And I will tell you that after that first trailer, I'm on board with it. We talked about that, I think, last week or the week before, not long after it came out. And I'm very excited about that movie. I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I'm very excited to see him get his feature film where he's the main focus. I think it looks good. And I had read a while ago that there had been some very, very early raw screenings of it, and they were well received. So we'll see. But that's my number 3. All
right. Number 2 for me is I'm glad that you put it on your list. Aquaman, I'm glad you did. Little Jason Momoa. They had somebody put on here, Laszlo Panaflex posted this. Ha 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 ha, Aquaman sucks. And we have another list here.
Marvel fanboys, they're out.
Ronnie Piro posts 3 movies I most want to see in the theater for the rest of the year. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph 2. The Predator. And the third one is Venom. He also, honorable mention for him is Christopher Robin. So those are all great movies. A couple of those were on my big list.
That's a very well-rounded
all over the place.
list. That's all over the place, yeah.
So,
I mean, Predator and Christopher Robin.
Yeah. Hey,
how about a mashup between those movies where the Predator just like rips Winnie the Pooh in half?
you could make Christopher Robin easily into a horror film. You could easily. That looks like it could go down a creepy path. So,
can we get a fan to make that trailer?
It's probably already been done.
Oh my god!
All right, so my second.
It'll end up like Usual Suspects, where Eeyore ends up being the killer, even though it's like, wait, how did Eeyore pull this off? He does not have the acumen.
Limping. So anyway, my second, and this
Eeyore
is
Sauce.
I loved the animated version. I loved the Kevin Costner version. I loved the version that Russell Crowe did. Yes, I'm one of the only people that like that. I loved Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I cannot wait to, and I am a big fan of this guy. So I am looking forward to see Robin Hood 2018, Jamie Foxx as your Little John, Taron Egerton as your Robin Hood. I am really looking forward to this. I am super pumped up to see this. Been looking forward to it since the trailer started coming out. So yes, that's where I'm at with that.
Good call.
Number 2.
Okay.
That comes out November 21st. So Holmes vs. Watson comes out December 21st. Robin Hood comes out November 21st. Comes out the same day as Creed 2. So that's going to be a big box office weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder if Creed 2 made it onto either of our lists. Okay, number 2 for me, The Nun.
The Nun. Wow.
Nun, which comes out in September. It
big
is part of the
fan.
Yes, part of the Conjuring series. I was extremely creeped out by that character in The Conjuring 2, which was the demon Valak.
Still haven't seen The Conjuring.
I think what's actually really kind of fun about this movie is that I know I'm gonna butcher her name here, but the woman who plays is Lorraine Warren in The Conjuring. Her sister is the nun, but because in The Conjuring, the lead actress's name, I think it's Vera Farmiga. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's her sister is actually the nun. But I'm very excited to see that. But it just looks super creepy, and I love being creeped out. So it's just,
Yeah, I actually just saw Mission Impossible 6. Phenomenal.
Yes.
Tom Cruise running like a maniac, air chopping the wind.
Did you see the thing with him and James Corden?
Yes.
Corden jumped out of the plane.
Yeah, so good. Actually, I was watching
Cruise chasing him down.
I was watching an interview with Henry Cavill, Superman.
Yes.
We love Superman. Man of Steel was great. Henry Cavill was talking about Tom Cruise and how he wanted to do that big, huge jump out of the airplane, and they wouldn't let him. And he was like, "But I really want to do it." I'm like, "I'm in great shape, all this kind of stuff." He's like, I've been training like crazy." He's like, I can absolutely do it." Tom Cruise basically pulled him aside and was like, "Look, I know you're in great shape and everything like this, but you need to do this stuff on your off time. When you're not here, you need to work on, doing these jumps and all that kind of stuff." He's like, "I took 3 months out of my year to learn how to fly a helicopter so I could do the helicopter scene. I took 6 months to work on this jump out of the airplane. The reason why I can't let you do that is because, if you get hurt or die, that's just on you. But the problem is you could kill everybody here if you do this wrong." And he's like, and Tom Cruise is like looking at him and telling him this, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So I know what I need to do now if I want to do all my stunts.
You can say whatever you want about Tom Cruise, and I know
He's a maniac.
He's an unbelievable at his craft. He really is. I don't love the guy because the whole Scientology thing just weirds me out in the worst way. But
as it should.
But I mean, put that aside. The guy is a ridiculous talent. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure he held Katie Holmes captive for like a few years, but he is an outrageous talent. He can act. I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually most excited, and it's not going to be until next year, but I'm so excited for like the next Top Gun movie. He's going to be.
He's a little.
Can they? I just wondered, like, can they dust the cobwebs off of Tom Skerritt though? Is he still living? I think he's still alive. man, oh man, like can he just be like an old man in a home that like Tom Cruise like goes to consult?
Yeah, Val
Like,
Kilmer's going to be in it. He said he was
got this
back,
real big
but
problem. Iceman just came back into my life. He looks like crap. What am I supposed to do, Tom?
He looks terrible.
He does not look good. Melissa, my wife and I were talking about that the other day in the car. We're like, oh, it's great. Val Kilmer's coming back at Iceman, but like, what are they going to do about his looks?
I know.
Like, can they make something to put over his current face?
I don't think so. That's going to be rough. All right. So number one. You did number two. That's right. Number one on my list. And this is a movie that I was excited for ever since they announced it originally. And then it got kind of canned, and then they got added in a new actor, and I got super excited for it then. And that is the movie called Bohemian Rhapsody. And that comes out November 2nd, about the movie Queen and Freddie Mercury. And I cannot wait for that movie because I'm big. I love music and all that kind of stuff. Queen is amazing. He is, and this is something that I want to go off of. And this is the topic that I'm going to go into next Wednesday because of this movie that I want to see is who are the greatest frontmen of all time. And and I know in your list, I know there's there's one that comes right to the forefront.
Probably, yeah.
A guy that you've seen in concert about 3 billion times. But I think that's a good topic to have. But
it's an interesting topic too because a lot of people might just think, well, wait a minute, what about McCartney? Like right off the bat, but I don't know. But the problem is like, who really is the lead man on the Beatles? Is it McCartney or was it Lennon? And also like where they used to be like on the stage was like they would be off to like the left and the right, like they were in the middle, McCartney and Lennon. So it's actually a really obviously Mick Jagger's clearly in this conversation.
Of course, he's in the conversation.
And Bono was clearly in the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's a very
Adam Levine clearly in the conversation.
Anyways, is it my
Who's
turn?
the lead singer of Nickelback?
I don't know.
You could do Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Vedder. John Bon Jovi.
Living on a Prayer. Anyway, so yes, my number one is Bohemian Rhapsody. What's your number one?
It's a good call, Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, I've been waiting to cue this up. So, can you turn the music down, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, it's down.
Okay, here we go. Here it is. My number one. Not only has this been number one, this has been number one all year for me, and it dates back to 2017 when we first heard about it.
Uh-huh.
Halloween. The night he came home, and he comes home again, October 19th, to Haddonfield. He's back. Michael Myers.
Darth Vader.
Very excited.
Brandon Blaine posted. He said, "Hi, boys. How's it going, Brandon?"
What's up, Blaine?
Darth Vader. DJ Darth Vader.
DJ Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a buddy of ours.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. He's
You will see him on the show at some point in time. A big Packers fan, knows a lot about football, so we're going to have him on at some point in time as well. If one of us ever need a break or if we're off on location, maybe might have to do that too. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Halloween, huh? I mean, you've been looking forward to that forever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's like your favorite movie. That's one of your favorite movies of all time.
It's certainly my favorite horror movie of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Right. So off of that whole topic, I wanted to kind of ask you if there was. Brandon just wrote, "Put me in, coach." He's
you ready to play?
Yeah. All right. So, if you were stranded on a desert island, I'm doing this again. Another stranded on a desert island, and you could only watch one movie for the rest of your time on that island, what would it be?
Well, I'm gonna pull a quote from the movie to answer it for you.
For me, I know what I would pick exactly. Go ahead.
Okay. Here's the quote. Mm-hmm. It's only an island if you look at it from the ocean.
What the hell's that from?
Jaws.
Is it?
Yeah.
When does he say
it's only an island if you look at it from the water. It's from Jaws.
Who says that?
Chief Brody.
He does?
Yeah, when him and Hooper are on the boat and they're looking for, they're out looking, for the rogue shark at night and they find Ben Gardner's boat.
Okay.
And Chief Brody's pretty drunk at that point because he's basically had an entire bottle of wine. And I think Hooper says something to him to the effect of, it's pretty ironic, you hate the water and you're the chief of police.
Yeah.
For in a town that's an island. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's only an island if you look at it from the water. Chief Brody. So the answer is Jaws. Even though Jaws is not my all-time favorite movie, it's my second favorite movie.
Close, yeah.
It's still the one movie that I could just watch constantly. Yeah. My favorite movie is The Fugitive, but that's my favorite movie because I love the story. I love that story so much, and I just love the portrayal of the individual characters, Richard Kimball being portrayed by Harrison Ford. And then, obviously Tommy Lee Jones as the U.S. Marshal. Just phenomenal roles. And I love that movie, but it's not a movie. It's my favorite movie, but it's not a movie that I could necessarily watch over and over again. But Jaws, I do watch over and over again. And so if I'm on an island, that seems to be the most appropriate one. Probably the one that's not going to help my survival case.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting on that raft and trying to go,
It's like that's like choosing Titanic or something like that.
Right.
See, what I am going to pick is I'm going to go the practical.
What's your favorite movie to watch while you're on a cruise line? Titanic.
What's your favorite movie to watch? When you're in the airplane.
You're on a boat.
Just Air Force One. I don't know. 6 Days, 7 Nights. I like those kind of movies. Anything with Harrison Ford because that plane's likely to go down.
Castaway. Castaway. I love Castaway.
So Castaway is the movie that I'm going to pick if I'm on the island to help me give me ideas on how to get off that damn island. It's a very practical effect.
That's funny.
Brandon put Speed 2.
That's the one with what's his name? Oh, I forget that guy's name. Is it Darren Patrick? I can't remember his name.
I don't know. Does anybody remember that movie?
He was the guy in. I think he was like one of the lead guys in Sleepers. Remember the movie Sleepers?
Yeah, but 30 years ago? I don't know.
De Niro was in it. It was actually a really good but very depressing subject matter kind of movie. But I think the guy who was one of the leads in Sleepers, I think is the lead in Speed 2. And if I am right about that, that's really, really pathetic.
Yeah.
Right. I'll chalk that up to the 4 years of working at Blockbuster.
Ronnie puts Goodfellas as the movie that he'd watch.
It's not a bad choice.
Can't hate on that?
No.
Oh, Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is the big bad in Speed 2, apparently.
Oh, he's the bad. Yeah, no, he's the bad guy. Yeah. But I think the Keanu Reeves role guy is, I think, the main dude from Sleep. I think. Yeah, Willem Dafoe is the bad guy in
Willem.
Willem.
Yeah. So, the honorable mention. We didn't do honorable mentions on the other one. But
no.
For this, definitely Castaways. The way I would go, because I want to get practical. I want to get off that island. So I want to get ideas on how to get off that island. I want to create fire and have like Tom Cruise and be like, all right, this is how I need to do it.
You know, talk to a volleyball?
Yes, I'll paint a rock or something, whatever I can get.
Cool.
Get my hands on. Go spearfishing, eat crap loads of lobster, and then get off the island, and then somebody will shove a bunch of fish in your face, and you'll be like, what the? I was just on an island. That's all I could eat for 2 years. Come on. Think, bro.
All
right, so that's pretty much it for that. I think that's the chicken wing debate.
That might be a good way to play us out.
Yeah, I will play us out. Chicken wing debate. That's something I said we were going to talk about. We're going to talk about it.
This was a ridiculous question, by the way.
See, I don't think so.
I think it is. I think first of all, it's just a dumb question because it just shows how bored the internet was this weekend. But on top of that, it's a ridiculous question because to me the answer is very easy. You eat the drumstick.
But so the better meat is on the flat.
So they say. I've never noticed that. If you got
it can dry out a little bit on the drumstick and get a little hard and firm around it. But some people like that.
I used to do this. See, here's the thing, though. For me, I'm a little partial because I used to do this trick in college where I could just take the entire drumstick when they had chicken wing day at UConn, and I would just put it in my mouth, and I would just be like a maniac, and then I would just pull it out, and it would be clean. And it, like some of my friends would be like, "Oh my god, you could not do that with a flat. It would take some serious work."
Laszlo comes back and says, flats for the win.
Laszlo Gogolak?
No, Panaflex.
Of the Gogolak gang?
What?
Laszlo and Yanni Gogolak?
What is that from? Your movie collection.
That's the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yes.
The Gogolaks, Laszlo and Yanni Gogolak.
The trap in your mind for movie quotes is absurd.
Isn't it? It's ridiculous. Can you imagine how much important stuff is pushed out because of my ridiculous movie knowledge?
That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh. Well, he said the reason why you did that trick is because the wing was flat. Because you can do that with a flat wing. You can just pull it all out, all the meat comes off. Or you can actually,
because you've got that one bone in there, though.
You can take the bones out. You can easily just twist it and then take all the meat out. They're very easy to eat once you learn how to eat them.
Listen, there's not like a horrible answer to this.
They're both awesome
because they're both great.
See, it depends. So.
I prefer the drumstick.
All right, so this is one of those things that's not what he said. Got all these comments. It's coming in too fast now. They're coming in too fast. So you have to check out the comment section below, and you'll get some good little laughs there. But anyway, so are you going there?
I'm gonna check.
So. I used to be drumstick. Like, that's the one I typically go for because they're less messy too. Like, you kind of have to eat the wing, like the flats, with both hands.
Yes.
Just so you can take it apart, so it's a little less. But it depends on where I'm at. If that's because Brian was fat. You used to be a little on the chubbier side.
That's
right?
true. Who said that?
Laszlo.
How did he know that?
I don't know. Is this a person who has created an account to come back and get you? You know, one of your friends?
Is that Tim Callahan?
I don't know.
He does have I think he's got a dummy account, but that's
not. Yeah, he said no, Brian was fat. He did that trick because he was fat. Oh man, we got somebody on here laughing, and now he's got the laugh crying face.
Oh no, that's
is it?
funny. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I forgot about the Panaflex. Yes, correct. Very true. That's true. No, that's true. Except when I used to do that trick in college, I was outrageously skinny.
Oh really?
I was like $150 soaking wet. Yeah, I was like. Really,
so you could burn it off quick.
Yeah, but it was a trick I learned as a fat kid, but then executed it even better, or with the same acumen as a thin guy.
Our music played out.
Out. Oh, there it is. There's the aliens.
Jam. All right. So anyway, you can find me. My name's Shane Moore. You can find me on Twitter at @EinhornIsFinkel.
My name is the Bri Man. You can find me on Twitter at _Bri_man.
And you can find the show at Shane and Bri Man. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bri Man, where we go live every Monday and Wednesday, soon to be on Saturdays. And we're going to have our buddy Laszlo on the show sometime soon. I'm going to play all those commercial musics that I used to play. I'm just going to do it all. And then you can find us at www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And Laszlo said, I like this. I'll be back next Monday.
What do you mean? What about Wednesday?
We're doing it at 11 o'clock. Yes, we were talking about, my wife just posted, are you guys really talking about chicken wings? Yes, we were talking about chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Because they are delicious.
No, I'm with her. I understand why she's asking the question.
Now I know it's not your everybody's favorite place to go, but it's definitely a place to get some wings. Just to kind of get this out of. What's your favorite wing at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oh man.
Me, it's the mango habanero. That's mine.
Used to be. I'm gonna say Asian Zing. Asian Zing. Yeah, it's gotta be Asian Zing.
Asian Zing,
That's a tremendous wing.
I wonder what what their favorite ones are. I mean, definitely mine is definitely the mango habanero. I can't eat as many as I used to because my mouth melts now. Like, I just can't take it.
So every once in a while, and I hate this so much, I go with my friend Robin to Buffalo Wild Wings. Her favorite is the garlic parm, and I swear to God, I hate the way she orders it. She orders them, this is, and I quote, extra wet.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Which basically just means like, more of the garlic
Tons
parm
of
sauce.
yeah.
Like, can you just say extra sauce?
Can I have them particularly more moist?
Yeah, right? Like, at that point, you might as well just throw the M word out there. Oh, extra wet. It's so embarrassing. Like, I know when she does it, this is me. This is me at the table.
Yeah, who does that?
My friend Robin.
Oh.
She's extra wet. I thought you were going to ask where I think the best wings are from, and for me, that answer has been the same since college. I'm still a Bidwell Tavern fan.
Yeah, I've never had them there. I've never been there. I know. Never been.
What is wrong with you?
My favorite right now, because I haven't been to that place, is J. Tim's. Love
Also
J. Tim's.
Answer.
The dirt wings, can't.
They're good. J. Tim's are good. That might be Laszlo's choice. Laszlo. I'm still a Bidwell guy.
You live up near that way.
Yes.
How close are you to there?
15 to 20 minutes.
Maybe you, me, and the Blaine will have to get up there someday.
Yeah.
Go to Bidwell so I can try some of these spectacular wings.
Yes. It's probably...
Is there a particular flavor that I should have, or is just all of them are just amazing?
Yeah. It's called what's it called? It's a maple flavored wing, but it's not called maple. It's called green something. Oh, I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but it's got a name that doesn't quite fit what the flavor is, but it's a maple flavor, and it's yeah.
Brandon says, "Do it."
Exactly.
Do it.
I'm with him.
Do it. All right. We will have to get that on the schedule at some point in time, and then we can figure out how we can get him on the show sooner than later.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. We're done. Our show's over. You want to say anything to your adoring Laszlo fans?
No, Green Mountain. That's what it's called. Green Mountain Wings.
Green Mountain Wings.
But they are maple. They're maple flavored. Oh.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
No, I just want to say, stay classy, Planet Club. That's all. Since I almost didn't get it in last week.
Yeah.
And really bothered me superstitious-wise.
Yeah. Sorry. What you gonna do?
Looked it in.
Yeah.
It was like an extra cut. Just an extra cut.
You got 14 seconds. 12, 11, 10. Bye.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody.
If you have any topics or anything you want to talk about next week, let us know. We'll drop them in.
You are listening to the Sports and Sorts podcast.